Do you have $50,000 in a box of chocolates? Because I'm not interested in speaking to you for any other reason.
This man wants chocolate. Andrew Tate official statement after BBC interview. Oh man, I cannot wait for this. Let's dive in. Oh, what do you know? It's Tate's speech. Can we take a real quick trip down Tate's speech road? If we go over here, this was his video on Tate's speech. Let's see what he had to say real fast.
I walk around and tell people in conversation that I like to have sex with lots and lots of different women. I estimate I have sex with 100 women a year. Probably, around that. They're all 9s and 10s. I ain't fucking with no basic assholes.
Let's see what he has to say in his, well-received interview on BBC. This is the interview after BBC. This is the much-needed content we needed after the BBC interview, right?
In the interest of saving absolutely everybody's time.
As he just wastes, literally 7 seconds of time while we watch that.
I feel like doing a generalized statement to all legacy media inside of the Matrix.
What is up with this movie music, man? What the hell is going on here? We're going to take a deep dive in the Matrix.
And I'm doing it to save their time and mine, as well as protect the minds of the masculine youth for the future.
Yes, this guy. This is the guy wearing the tight shirt that's going to say here, protect the minds of the masculine youth.
I want to make it very clear that the legacy media, which I enjoyed the company of today, have made a massive mistake and missed a chance to do some genuinely interesting journalism.
What is up with all the facial hair and him growing his hair out? If we take a trip back to Tate's speech, shaved his beard and his hair was even longer here, so he's trying to bring back the Tate speech look, I guess.
After being unfairly incarcerated in a Romanian dungeon, I thought that even the BBC, in its absolute arrogance and hubris, would be smart enough to come to me after 6 months, being the first interview I gave to the Matrix, and be smart enough to—
How is he still calling, the general world the Matrix? This is the Matrix.
Ask questions people were genuinely interested in. What's it like inside of a Romanian prison cell? How were you treated? Why was a person's liberty deprived of them for 6 months without charge?
Yes, these are all the questions when he was in jail that I was wondering. I just couldn't wait to get answers to these. So let's see what he has to say.
How is your mental state post your unfair incarceration? Things people are genuinely interested in hearing. But instead, they came with the same old talking points. And I'd like to address all of these talking points to the Matrix media now to prevent this happening again.
He sounds so mad. He sounds so mad, man.
It's a monumental waste of everybody's time.
Monumental waste of everybody's time.
I say things on the internet. I've been making content on the internet for a very long time. Finding a clip from 2016, 8 years ago, finding a 4-hour-long podcast from 2016, ignoring all context, ignoring everything positive I say about men and women.
All right, now listen up. Before all the people that are watching this are going to come back and say, bro, come on, man. What's wrong with this guy? I don't know what the argument's going to be. But before those people say that, for every 150,000 bad things he says, he'll say one semi-positive thing that people are like, no, man, of course, he said this. What's wrong with you? That's usually the Andrew Tate argument here. So that's kind of what he's talking about. That's what the comments are talking about.
In the world. And taking a single sentence and trying to pretend that's my entire worldview is not the bombshell you think it is. Nobody cares. Everybody understands what satire is. Everybody understands what...
Yes. Subscribe to Tate Speech on YouTube. Is this channel even here? We're gonna do a quick search. Oh man, what do you know? The channel's not here. Ooh, big surprise. It's just a bunch of people making Andrew Tate dick riding channels. Awesome. So, I don't know what they're talking about. Subscribe to Tate Speech here.
Joke is, everybody understands it's the internet. Everybody understands all of these things. Plus, the people who know the truth of my message are very capable of understanding what is satirical and what is true. People are not as stupid as you'd like them to be. Sitting down with me and missing the chance to have a
I like how you can see the lav cable through his shirt because it's so tight. It looks like he has a giant vein just sticking right out.
genuinely interesting interview with genuinely interesting questions that people are interested in hearing the answers to. And instead attempting this attack to get this bombshell aha moment is never going to work. Because one, I'm too smart for all of you. And two, nobody
Ah, yes. Andrew Tate. He's too smart for all of us. Yes.
cares. Nobody cares I made a joke 8 years ago because everybody knows I was joking. And everybody knows the truth of my message. So you're wasting absolutely everybody's time. Worse than wasting everybody's time. What you're
Dude, this guy has wasted the first 3 minutes saying the same thing. He's just talking in circles as he's saying he shouldn't be wasting people's time. What is happening here?
genuinely doing is damaging the minds of young men. And I think I have a responsibility as one of the most influential men on the planet to protect the minds of young men and all of the men who look up to me. Nobody.
Okay. He does. He has a responsibility to then protect them. So let's see what he's going to do about that.
No young man below the age of 30 has any interest in what the BBC or the legacy media say. They don't care and they don't watch it. Unless I appear on there. So when I sit across from a reporter who says that having a nice car makes you a misogynist, it's disingenuous.
Use
And
that
also,
image of financial
it's-
success
correct.
with a Bugatti and a cigar, but it comes with a side order of misogyny.
How does having a Bugatti and a cigar come with misogyny?
Because it's all mixed together in what you teach.
I
I like how he clips that out of context to be like, she said, I'm misogynist for having a car. It's like, no, man. There was a whole 2 minutes before that she was talking about. We could go back to that interview and just watch it for yourselves. That's not what she said.
find that to be extremely dangerous rhetoric. I find that to be extremist rhetoric. And I think it's very dangerous for young men to think if they work hard for something in their lives, if they dedicate themselves and they're diligent and hardworking.
More progress. She barks. I leave.
And they try hard, that they'll be a bad person. I hate the idea of a world where a man who dedicates himself to excellence so he can enjoy the finer things in life is criticized and ostracized and called horrible names purely because he's been a hardworking male. And I don't like young men hearing these extremist ideas.
Oh, man, Andrew Tate, he's got it so hard, man. Oh, no.
And they're only going to hear these extremist ideas if they watch the BBC, which is an extremist organization. And they're only going to watch the BBC if I talk to the BBC. So I feel like now that these people have proved themselves to be extremist and very damaging to the minds of young men, I have an obligation to not interact with them very much because I don't want them spreading their extremist propaganda.
So why did you go on it if that's what you think? Why did he go on and sit there and talk to them if that's what he thinks? What are you talking about, dude?
We have a men's mental health crisis. Young men are disenfranchised. The suicide rate amongst men is much higher than women. And everybody pretends to care. But when I come along and say, I am a man, I've been a man, I know how it feels to be a sad man and a happy man, and I found happiness through masculine achievement and strength, through working hard in the gym, through dedicating myself, through building a life worth living, through taking care of the people who I love, both male and female, through becoming financially successful, through sticking up for myself, through having opinions, through being a man of honor and courage. When I do these things, I'm ostracized and they're attempting to destroy my life. This goes beyond a few media interviews. They are attempting to put me in jail and destroy my life because I am helping young men. They don't care about men's mental health. They have no interest at all. In fact, the ideas they purport, like I've just explained, are genuinely damaging to the mindset of young men.
Why does he act like he's done nothing wrong? He acts like everything he's done has been a huge favor. He's done a lot of good things for these young men. He's done nothing bad. He's never, kept women in his basement and made them go on these sites and he takes all their money. He didn't do that. No. He didn't, start Hustlers University and rip all the money away from these very sad young men. No, of course not. He didn't do any of that stuff. He also didn't essay anybody. No, not him.
On top of this, they waste everybody's time because their aha moment never works. Nobody's interested in it. And I destroy them with ease. But my hourly rate is high. It's not very fun for me to do. I just do it. It has to be done. But I don't particularly
Heard Will and Nestle died on Diablo? Wait, they did? No, they didn't.
enjoy it. I allowed you into my home. I'm doing you a favor, giving you the first interview I'm giving to the public. You don't come here with a position of authority. You're not the police. I don't respect the BBC. I don't know you. You do not come here with a position of authority over me. We are equals. We are people. We're citizens of the world.
Well, that's an interesting revelation for him to say we are equals. Interesting.
We sit here as equals, and I see you as my equal, and if you ask me questions, I can ask you questions back. For you to come here and sit down and pretend you're the Gestapo, and that you don't have to answer my questions, is disingenuous.
Dude, he sounds so mad. Look at him. Look how mad he is. He's so mad.
Because I don't owe you anything.
Asking questions and you answer.
But I don't owe, no,
however you want.
This is a conversation, and I don't owe you any degree of authority over me. So let's make that clear. And that doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman or from the BBC or the CNN. I'm here to answer your questions and be honest with you and do you a favor.
Great.
And I'm doing you a favor. But you come here with loaded questions. You're trying to paint a narrative of me which is negative.
I'm asking you
And
about
that's
things
fine.
you've said that people...
He's so insecure. He's so upset over this thing where he could potentially be seen in a negative light. Heaven forbid. Also, what's up with this camera? Why can't we see the camera in the shot? Come on.
concerned about.
And that's fine.
You
But you're not going to
said
sit here and
a
say you
woman's-
don't answer my questions because you're not above me. So, in the interest of spreading good and positivity in the world, which is my number one objective, I am making this clear to all legacy media outlets. I will no longer interact with you for free. Nobody cares that you lie about me, and nobody cares what you say. You have destroyed all of your credibility in the last 4 years of constantly lying about everything and continuing to lie.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. 2 years after researchers are calling for better options. Yes, this is the lying they're lying to. The media is lying about the vaccine. What does the vaccine have anything to do with what he's talking about right now? What is going on? What's happening here?
About me will only destroy your credibility further. I have an organization called Tate Pledge, which you can see. Go to CobraTate.com and click at Tate Pledge, and you will see that I dedicate $25 million a year to feeding children, both male and female, in war-torn countries. I would like to think that even the legacy media can agree that feeding children in Sudan, or Turkish children after an earthquake, or Syrian children in refugee camps is a pretty positive thing to do for the world.
Okay, now let's go to his website real quickly. Our programs, the War Room, Hustlers University. So you're still stealing the money from these, depressed young men that you talk about. I think they'd be better off not signing up for this and saving their money so that they can, start a career, do something with their lives with that money, rather than spend it on Hustlers University where they have to, push around Andrew Tate TikToks and they have to do a job for him taking all their money. And it's like, what is going on here, man?
My last BBC interview, she tried to spin it and say that what I'm doing is somehow negative because I'm only doing it for myself. But this is the level of delusion these people operate under.
Because some people would look at that and say, okay, so before you got money from attracting people to your website by making controversial comments, but that might have got you into trouble. And so now you're looking for a new market. You're looking for a new market of followers who are attracted by a different sort of persona.
I've always done the charity work, so that is obviously incorrect. And I have proof that I've always done the charity work, so you're wrong. Tate Pledge is funded 100% by me. This is my personal money. But I believe...
Dude, you were doing an MLM scheme. That's what she's trying to say. And he's denying it now. He's like, no, I was always looking out for these young men.
If the legacy media is intent on spreading hate, intent on spreading extremist ideology.
And I'm not knocking him down, if he's out here giving money to these people that are in need of food and in need of resources, good on him for doing that,
Which it seems they are. Not only the extremist ideology that men shouldn't work hard, but also a bunch of other ones, which I don't need to mention because most thinking people understand what the legacy media is trying to purport on not only the population, but the young children of the world. And what they are trying to push is far more damaging than me saying you should go to the gym. Therefore, I no longer have any interest with interacting with the legacy media for free because I don't want their extremist views shown to young children without doing some good for the world.
Dude, he has repeated himself so many... How many times did he say he didn't want to waste people's time? He's wasted so much of my time by saying the same thing. He just talks in circles the whole time.
My fee from this point onwards is $50,000 and a box of chocolates. That is what it is going to cost you to speak to me. If you are from the Matrix,
A bowl of chocolate.
will give me $50,000 in advance, which will be donated to Tate Pledge, which will be used to feed children in war-torn countries. And you will also bring a box of chocolates to my gate, which I will ingest as I listen to your Matrix propaganda and destroy.
What is happening here? Why is this man so desperately, I want a chocolate? What is happening here?
You, because I deserve chocolates if I have to put up with you. I am an extremely successful man, and my time is valuable. And you're wasting mine, yours, and everybody else's. So if you're going to come along with your extremist ideas, I would at least sleep better at night if you were feeding some poor, innocent children somewhere in the world.
Yeah, so do that, and don't sign up for $50 a month, Hustles University. And it's probably more. Once you sign up, there's probably more paywalls.
But you have no interest in doing any good for the earth. You're only interested in spreading hate, unlike me who wants to do good things. So, post my BBC interview,
He acts like he's the only man. He's the only man on earth that can do good things. That's his thing. It's like, what is going on?
Contacted by the New York Times, CNN, the Clinton News Network, all of them. And they're all desperate to interview me because they understand the number of views it will get. I want to try now, I want to try now. And they all want to try a different version of the same aha moment. Not understanding, because they're completely detached from reality, that it's not an aha moment and nobody cares.
He's the kind of guy that could just never be wrong about anything. So he's afraid. He's like, that's him self-reporting and saying, oh man, I'm afraid for anyone else to interview me. He's really scared, and it's obvious.
They're not interested, they're not smart enough to look at the board of the chessboard and say, this isn't going to work. Let's ask him questions people actually care about. They're not that smart. So if you want to waste your time and mine, that's what's going to happen.
All right, second time on Subscribe to Tate Speech, the channel that doesn't exist.
$50,000. I managed to procure meals at around 80 cents each. So we'll feed over 60,000 children for wasting an hour of my time, plus a box of chocolates. That is my fee.
How many times do you have to say that? I have to like skip past something. I don't want to skip it because it's going to be out of context, but what's going on?
From this point forward, I will still speak to non-Matrix media outlets who are interested in the truth, interested in asking interesting questions that people want to hear the answers to.
So he wants it, Fox News. He's like, Fox News, please interview me, Fox News, please. He is like begging for them to interview him.
I will still be available to do my own podcasts and tell the truth. But as long as legacy media retain their reputation as peddlers of extremist ideology, I no longer have any interest in promoting them and making them relevant. It's better we allow them to become irrelevant, which they are doing, through their own dishonest actions. I will no longer interact with any of you for free ever again. So, to the 64 journalists who have emailed me so far since the BBC
You need to get me a bowl of chocolate.
interview, do you have $50,000 in a box of chocolates? Because I'm not interested in speaking to you for any other reason.
This man wants chocolate. Andrew Tate wants chocolate. What is happening?
I actually think I'm being quite kind only charging 50 grand. I should charge 200 grand, but I'm a nice man. And $50,000 will still feed a lot of children. I promise any legacy media outlet that pays me the fee can have an interview. And I also promise to provide full accounting and receipts to prove that that money goes directly to charity, to feeding children in war-torn countries. But I will no longer allow the Matrix propaganda machine to infect
Matrix propaganda.
the minds of innocent children by using my relevance to achieve interviews and get views they would never normally get to spread hateful propaganda. If you can't afford me, you're going to have to go back to just lying about me without speaking to me. Because God knows the truth, I know the truth, most of the world knows the truth, and I genuinely believe that Allah is the best of planners, and whatever happens to me, regardless of whether I am martyred, regardless of whether they put a bullet in my brain, I know what I have done is good for the world, and the things I will do will continue to be good for the world. Get your checkbooks out, or don't email me at all, because there will be no compromise. I don't care what you try and do and say to goad me into an interview. You can lie about me all you want. It's what you do already. I'm not afraid of your lies. It's going to cost 50 grand plus a box
If 50G, the top G needs the top G amount of money. Yeah, light one up, Andrew. God, that was the lamest shit I've ever watched in my life. That was a freaking nightmare. Andrew Tate official statement after BBC. People aren't as stupid as you'd like them to be. Brilliant statement. It needs to be played for every politician and media source, especially in the USA. Many people feel the same way as Tate at this point. It'd be lovely to stand against the rhetoric of being pushed against the masses. As a woman following this man for the past few years, the respect I have for this man has gone up on so many levels. What a beautiful, big, juicy middle finger to the media. Dude, he tried to like turn around and be like, look, I'm donating so that I'm not a bad guy. I'm donating. And I want box of chocolates. That's the whole interview. That's it. That's all he said. All right, well, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button on my channel because I do have that button, unlike Andrew. And I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.